Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to look at a really personal interpretation of the Ramayana. Now, this isn't meant to be a history lesson. Instead, it's framed as a philosophical teaching from a guru, and it all centers on one single powerful idea.
You know, the source for this explainer kicks off with this very intimate greeting. Dear brothers and sisters, greetings. And that right there sets the tone. This isn't some distant lecture. We're being invited on a much more personal, philosophical journey.
Right, so this one idea, it shapes literally every decision, every sacrifice, and every single triumph in this ancient epic. It's like this invisible force that guides all the characters. And it all gets started in a place you probably wouldn't expect.
So the whole story is framed as a guru's timeless lesson. The source presents this entire narrative not as a historical account, but as a teaching passed down from a guru about his lord, Sri Ram.
Okay, so this is where it all kicks off. Not in a palace learning how to be a king, but out in the wilderness, at a humble forest school, learning about life itself. It's here, in the Gurukul, that the entire foundation for Sri Ram's philosophy is built, right from the ground up.
And here's the thing. The source tells us this education. It wasn't really about training them to be rulers. Nope. Its main purpose was something way, way deeper. It was all about dismantling the ego.
This education was basically a great equalizer. It was super practical, not just theory. You had princes and commoners living together, working side by side, doing everything from chopping wood to herding cattle to even begging for alms. And the goal was two-sided. For the prince, it was to get rid of his arrogance, and for the commoner, it was to lift him out of despair. It was all about forging true character through these shared, humbling tasks.
The source uses this really powerful analogy to explain the method. The guru is like a potter with a clay pot. The guru himself gives the tough lessons, the striking from the outside to shape the pot and fix the flaws. But at the same time, the guru's wife, the guru mata, is there offering comfort and emotional support. That's the love from within. It's this incredible, holistic way of building a person.
So after all that training, the princes finally head home, seemingly ready for whatever's next. But their greatest test, it's just around the corner. And everything revolves around one single, crucial concept.
And this brings us to the absolute core idea of the whole story, kartavya. It's this principle that your duty, your responsibility to the greater good, has to come before your own personal feelings or desires. And this idea gets put to the test, like immediately. When Ram's stepmother demands he be exiled for 14 years, he doesn't fight it. He just accepts because his kartavya as a son to honor his father's word is way more important than his own feelings or his right to the throne.
And what's amazing is how this one person's commitment to kartavya sets off this incredible chain reaction of duty. So Ram accepts his exile. Then his wife, Sita, says her duty is to be by his side. Then his brother Lakshman, seeing this, decides his duty is to go with them and protect them. And then his other brother Bharat, the one who's actually given the throne, fulfills his duty not by taking power, but by putting Ram's sandals on it and ruling in his name. Every single one of them chooses duty over personal desire.
Now, as the story moves into the forest years, the source argues that this isn't just a personal trial for Ram. It's actually a mission. He's there to confront a completely opposite way of thinking, an ideology that's threatening to rip the world apart.
And here they are, the two worldviews, laid out side by side. It's a total clash. On one side, you have Sri Ram's philosophy, to make the world a friend, through giving, trust, peace, and selfless duty. And on the other side, you have Ravan's worldview, which is all about selfishness, taking, greed, and power. The source basically frames this as the ultimate battle, creating a world of unity versus creating a world of chaos.
And we see this clash play out in the choices other characters make. Allegiance here isn't about family ties, it's about which idea you stand for. Ravan's own brother Vibhishan actually joins Ram, saying a king's duty is to his people's well-being, not his own ego. Even Angad, whose father was on the selfish path, chooses Ram's side. It's a powerful statement that your principles matter more than your bloodline.
All right, so the war is won. The exile is over. You'd think we'd be at the happily ever after part, right? Well, not so fast. The story now presents its final and maybe most complicated tests, and this is where the source really connects it all to our world today.
This timeline really walks us through these final tests of leadership,
Ram is crowned king, everything seems great, but then a single citizen's gossip about Sita starts causing social division. To uphold his kartavya as a king and keep society united, the heartbreaking decision is made for Sita to go into a second exile, and this leads, years down the line, to their own sons showing up and challenging the very justice of that choice.
So, after everything, what is the ultimate lesson here? What's the point? Well, according to the source, the entire epic, all of it, boils down to one simple choice, a choice between bhakti and ahankar. Bhakti in this context means selfless wisdom, that intellect that knows right from wrong. And ahankar is the destructive ego, the mind that's just driven by greed and selfishness. The story teaches that this choice is really the choice between connection and destruction.
And this is where the source brings it all right into our world, presenting the author's own reflections. The view put forward is that we are still fighting this exact same battle between ego and duty. Social media is pointed to as a place of disrespect, and the author argues that in gaining the freedom to speak, we've somehow lost the need to listen, which is why rules and order become so necessary, to protect society from itself.
And that's really the provocative question the source leaves us chewing on. It's a timeless choice between ahankar, the self-serving ego, and bhakti, selfless duty. The real challenge is to look around and ask ourselves, which of these two forces is guiding our actions and our world in the 21st century?